Hi guys, how is everyone? Hope you're all keeping well. Evening Colin, over on Facebook there. How you doing? We've got a few over on YouTube just quickly. Scaling Models, Mike, aka Dad, Wendy Hickson, Apple, Panzer Cone, um, Ice Cream Soup. How you doing? So hi everyone, good to see you all again. Kind of wasn't online last few weekends, and then last week, as you know, the internet all messed up from my live. Uh, Basically, we had no phone line for a week, and we still got web pages up on the PC. So I assumed that the internet was fine. And then when I went to go live, it was jumping up and down, jumping up and down. It was drawing too much power on a dodgy line, and yeah, it all failed. So I tried twice, and then I realised what the problem was. But it's all been fixed, so it's all good. Nothing's been done on the Tirpitz since last time, so everything's exactly the same as before. So we'll just kind of muddle on as you do. Just get that camera there. So a lot's been happening. Not at the bench, but a lot's been happening with our shop and whatnot. You'll see soon enough when the time comes. So on here, if I remember correctly, we got the white bit on there to bring that up, so it's like a line there on the white, and that was the only bit on that one. And that side was done, but then I noticed that I haven't done the light grey over here, so I'm going to need to try and get in there and just quickly give that a bit of a light grey to start with. So I need to try and mask that a little bit and get that bit of light grey on. There's one over here, a bit of light grey and a bit there, and a wonderful bit there, as I can see, and some of this here as well, up to kind of there. So a bit of messing about, but more saying hello and chit chatting while we're here, why I'm at it. It seems it's all the boring stuff again still, and then we should be able to start doing the superstructure then, so we'll get that done first. Trying to remember what colour I actually used. Don't think it was that. Wasn't that for sure, wasn't that? Oh, I wonder if it was that. Hiya, Annette, how are you? Been a while. My fault, right enough. No one else's. Do you know, I can't remember what colour I used on this now. I'm sure it was medium sea grey. And that doesn't look right. Definitely wasn't that one. That's extra dark. I thought it was camouflage light grey I used. Obviously not. Let me just see. Camouflage grey. No, it couldn't have been that, surely. I think it must have been the light neutral grey. Well, we'll give it a go and we'll see how it is. Oh, cheers, Annette. Yeah, it was a pain with the internet, to say the least. But glad to be back. No, I still can't tell if that's the right colour or not. I can't remember now, it's been that long since I've used anything. Light neutral grey. It must have been that. Definitely wasn't that. Right. We'll go with light neutral grey. I think that's what it was. No dogs today, blah, blah, blah. Oh, good stuff. Well, we got a new car. So that was one of my weekends kind of messed up. What do I need? Ah, masking tape. Right, so I've got these mad little lines to do all over the place here. So I want to show you these. These are really cool. I'll show you these while we're at it. I've got these. I don't know if you can see that. They're straight lines. Infinity cutting mats. That's a straight line one. There's one with circles and stuff and shapes. Ideal for like canopies and all that kind of thing. That one's like half curves and that. And then this one's all mad shapes. You can see that. But they're really cool. So when you want any particular width of a piece of masking tape, basically, you can cut it to whatever shape you want, whatever line size you want, depending on what mat you have. Now, I don't know if you can hear this. They're like laser cut. And what you do, you get a bit of old normal masking tape. And you just put that on that board there, like that. And you can use like some masking sheet, you know, a bit of old masking sheet. You can use whatever you want. These are really cool. I like these. And when I find my knife, nice sharp knife, and you stick it in the groove there and just follow the line. Because it's in the groove, it doesn't go off the groove, if you know what I mean. So you can cut strips of masking tape to up to 1/2 a millimeter wide, if that makes sense. So if I look now through this and I get the next groove. Now I'm not going to want it this 1/2 a millimeter wide, but just to show you how it works. Do you know what? I missed a groove, so it's actually 1 millimeter, but it doesn't matter. And if I find my tweezers and I get the corner of that, it gives me a perfect 1 millimeter wide strip of masking tape. Exactly 1 millimeter wide all the way along. So if you wanted a 1 mil pinstriping, you can just cut a 1 mil piece of masking tape. And if you wanted it like bigger, you know, 2 mil or whatever, you just move over a couple of grooves and go And basically you can have all your different thicknesses of your masking tape with a nice straight edge out of one roll of masking tape, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to go for a wider one because I'm doing this on the Tirpitz. So I've just cut myself, or whatever millimetre that is, strip off of that. So I mean, you know, you can see all the grooves there. They go right up to 0.5 millimetre. So you can cut anything basically, whatever shape you want, if it's like in that board. So you can go that way and that way with it. So you can make crazy shapes if you want. I'll keep that because I want to use that. But if say you wanted to make a mask and you wanted a proper, like a square or a rectangle or whatever, and you want to airbrush, you know, you can go through the grooves with a nice straight line. You can have your square if you want it as a square or rectangle, or you could use that piece and put it over it, and when you're airbrushing, you know, so you're airbrushing your square or whatever. So really handy boards to have. And like I say, these all come, I've got more here, I've got all 4 of them. So you got ones that does real mad shapes. It's craziness. I'll just open them up and show you, because you can see better without the plastic film on. But you got all crazy shapes, and you can do the shapes to whatever size. You can do giant triangles, big curves, whatever, you know. They're really cool. And for someone like me, it's a bit of a daft in masking. It's like, it's a bit of a kind of lifesaver. I mean, if you're doing a Starship Enterprise or something, you know, you could do your half curve, whatever it is, around it with your mad masking, your little the little jaggy bits, you know, like this. You know, you can cut masking sheets into like that. So that's the sort of thing you can do with them. You know, they're really cool. And that's the other one. So that's all 4 of them there. So you imagine if you're cutting, like you've got a roll of masking tape like this, you can cut it into whatever you want, especially for canopies and what have you. Can you cut circles with them? Just thinking for roundels. Well, yeah, I mean, there is circles, and some of them go really tiny on there. Can you see how tiny some of them grooves are? I guess it's how steady your hand is, but the grooves go really small, you know? So, in theory, yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. Are they expensive? Depends. You need to shop around. If you like me and you just go, I want the full set, like I do. I paid. Oh, I think online, if you Google them, they're about sort of between 45 and 50 quid, something like that. But it's a one-off payment, you know. It's You're not going to be buying them regular, you know what I mean? It's once you've got them, you've got them. You know, that's it. It's a one-off because you know they're not going to. worn out or anything, you know, it just is what it is. So depends how you look at it. If you're going to start going out and buying, like, I brought the emergency canopy set online, you know, for about 8-10 quid or something it was, and then postage. But you run out of certain shapes, you know, and although they're very good, like I say, I've run out of shapes and stuff like that for it. And then when you think about it, if you've got, like, I don't know, my Lancaster, where I brought the mask set for it, you know, to do the little windows and everything else, you know, when you start looking at how much you spend on these mask sets and everything else, although they're very good and they're already cut for you, they're all one-hit wonders, you know. So is it expensive? Saying nearly 50 quid probably for all four, in comparison to what I would normally spend on mask sets and all sorts anyway. I would say no, not really, because it's, like I say, it's a one-off payment and then that's used. So in the long run, for someone like me that masks a lot and does a lot of that kind of craziness, like that typhoon I've just done, you know, it really, it's value, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because normally, you know, you'll pay what, £8-10 just for an aircraft mask set, or a Whitley you know, canopy mask set and all that. So if you can sit there and cut it yourself for less money, I mean, that's just cutting straight lines straight away, not even half, you know, even half-heartedly, when I'm wanting to do something like this, it's cutting it straight away, nice and straight. Whereas before, when you watched me do this, sure, I was ripping it off and then just using the straight edge and then wasting a lot of masking tape. So now I can just sit here and go like that and just cut it down into bits that are usable for what I'm doing. So it's hard to say if you class it as expensive or not. It depends how much you mask. Obviously, I'm a kind of crazy regular doing it. See that little 1mm one? That's getting on my nerves. I might need to invest in them. They're very handy in it. I know a few people that use them, and they said to me, once you've got them, you'll love it. And for what I do, I'll find it a world better, you know, much better. Save me a lot of money over time. So I mean, if you're going to sit there with like all your different size masking tapes and, like I say, canopy masks and all that kind of carry on. I mean, you imagine if you got that circular one that I showed you just now, that one there. I mean, if you got a mask set like this for the US Enterprise or whatever you call it. Sorry, I'm not a Star Trekky person, so whatever it's called. If you imagine on that, you're spending probably 20 quid on a set to mask that. Where you could probably get one at that singular board for about 15 quid, 18 quid or something, and you've got it permanently. So it's not just a one-hit wonder. So pretty inexpensive compared to Tamiya set and mask boards, which I bought 3 years back, and I've only one set left. But this is it. You know, like I say, I was put onto them by a friend, and he says, "Oh yeah, definitely well worth it." And he's used them for a few years, so I was like, "All right, okay." So I just went for it. Like I say, I think they're great. I really do. And no, I'm not getting commission for saying about it. Do you know what I mean? It's just a product that I've brought, and I think it's brilliant. You know, all that time when I've been doing this dazzle camo, and I've been sitting there using big strips when all I need to do now is all my little strips. But it's cheap because it's normal masking tape. So the masking tape itself's not cost me hardly anything, you know. So I'm just trying to get this lined up. You know yourself, if you don't get this bit lined up right, it's all going to go pear-shaped. I just think they're really cool. So it's nice just to stick the knife in there and get a nice straight cut. You got to have a good sharp blade, right enough. You know, a nice new blade. But I mean, I've got plenty of blades in stock anyway in the shop, so all good. And I'm not pressing down hard, you know. It's you don't have to dig it right in. I'm just covering this up. Cheap, Fred. Well done. You're becoming more Scottish by the day. It just makes sense, mate. You know, it it's kind of crazy when you tot up how much you spend on canopy masking sets and, like I say, you know, other masking sets, and it's like, really, you don't need to. So, yeah. It'll actually be, I'm not going to say the word because I don't want to get banned by YouTube or Facebook. But when the famous flag goes on the end here, whichever side it is, I can't remember. I'm not a boat person. This is my first proper ship, so I can't remember if it's the bow or stern or whatever. But there's a famous flag that goes on it, right? And obviously, I'm not going to say what it is. Yeah, that's it. The square one for Digicamo, yeah. That's what I mean. And you can cut it into thin strips. And see, if I'd known about these before I started doing the deck, what I would have done is cut the fine strips in the deck width, and I'd have probably done it in about 5 or 6 stages, and I would have done the planking effect and done different wood colours, and then when you peeled it all off, it would have gave you like a proper plank effect, which would have been really cool. It'd have been a lot of painstaking little tiny thin bits like this, but you can, you know, if I've got a big wide bit of masking tape like that, and I'll put it on the board and cut it all into 1mm strips long ways, and then cut them all that way, you know, and then layered them on the deck, that would have looked really cool. Goes on the bow. No worries, I can never remember which way which is bow or stern or whatever. But you know, you could cut so many 1mm pieces, all exactly the right length to do your staggered planking effect. And then I could have picked out loads of planks, you know, painted it one colour, put loads of planks with the 1mm pieces, and then sprayed another colour, then carried on, and then when you peeled it off, it would look like a proper deck, which would be really, really cool. Hiya, pal. Come here. Say hello. You gonna say hi? Say hi. Look, you're on there. Can you see it? See it? Say hiya. Say hi. Huh? You gonna say hi? No? You nervous? You scared? Yeah. My little grandson, Noel. Say bye. Oh, look. Everyone's saying hiya. People saying hiya. You say bye. You normally say bye. No. Right, go on then. Go see Granny. Shut the door. Alright? No, you won't shut the door. Oh, there's the door shut. He normally says hi. He's dead cute. Anyway, folks, time for me to head off. Take care. No worries, Panzer. I'll catch you next time, pal. All good. I forgot what I was doing now. Oh, yeah. Right. Sorry. We've got that one on. We've got that one on. I better get this one up here done quick. And then we can start spraying again. All good. Oh, cheers, Sue. Yeah, he's 2 years old, bless him. My little grandson. He's normally a pest, to be honest, as they all are at that age. But I wouldn't have it any other way, though, you know. Right, that one just kind of goes there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the bottom there quickly. Make sure I don't get no overspray when the time comes. You see, normally I'm just giving it all that, you know, ripping it, and so these are much better. That's for sure. I'm just going to cover that up there and there. It's just so I don't get too much overspray on that. Right, so that's that one. That's that one. I've got one over here to do. You can see that. This one there, going right across there. So I've got to bring that one up onto that next level. Structure. Will be good to spray. But definitely worth having them. Start them young. Yeah. He does sometimes, to be honest, say hello. But not really on my live. It's when I'm in video chat and he can see who's I'm talking to, but he's getting confused because he's looking at the screen and there's nobody there, if you know what I mean. There's no actual people there, so he's like, who am I supposed to be talking to? He doesn't understand that you're all there watching. Right. So if I whip that on there like that, that's all good. I'll just pop that bit on there. And one more little bit. I'll use that little square there actually. Right. Trying to think what I was doing then. Is that on it? Yeah. Right. Sorted. So I've got this little one here to do. Oh, hang on, tilt it there to spray in that light grey, and that will make that match up inside there. And I've got this one here to do in there, and then one in here, wherever it is there, and then a bit over this side here, just to blow it over, and we'll be good. Then we can start working out the superstructure stuff. So and I've just noticed that Facebook had done a load of updates not long ago, and my live on the monitor on Facebook seems to have changed the way the layout is on the page, and the chat on here, or you can't see because of this, but the chat on the screen there is actually keeping up, and it never used to. So I normally have my phone on over here, and that shows me people's conversations on there, but it seems the ones on the screen are working all right now. So at last Facebook's managed to address that problem. And I should have really chucked some cleaner in this straight away to make sure it's all working right. Like that. That noisy old compressor. Turn that down. Right, so I'm about 7 psi, 6 psi, something like that, just so I can blow it gently into that gap there, but not have it the overspray issues. And there. Oh, and there's one bit I didn't do. Carry on. That one. Right. Sorted. That is the right grey now I'm looking at it, so that's a bonus. Yeah. So just a few drops, that's all it's took. With a bit of luck, fingers crossed, it should be good. Facebook actually got something right. Yeah, and that definitely. I noticed when I first started doing lives on Facebook that the chat didn't come up on my PC very quickly. It kind of a real bad lag to it. So I used to have my phone over there on a little phone stand connected to my live, and I could read the chat from there. So that's why sometimes you saw me going like that all the time on my lives. But after about, I don't know, because although I've only been doing YouTube on doing the YouTube lives for a little while, since I think last November. I'd actually been doing Facebook Live for a number of years, and it was always a problem with the chat on it. It lagged, and you never saw comments, and you had to scroll down and all that, which is not feasible when you're trying to do stuff in your life. So it was kind of really annoying, but they seem to have fixed it. So all good. So it's just me ripping off all these little tiny bits of tape, and we'll have a look and see what it looks like. But that board will make life so a little, I'll say so much easier, but it's a bit of an understatement with what I've got to do on this ship. So I'd say it makes it a little bit easier for what I've got to do. It's probably the best word. Now I've got just a tiny microscopic little bit of spray on there. So I'll do a little cotton bud. And that's it off. Because I aqua glossed it, it protects it, so all good. Right, so let me just double check it before I show you guys. Oh yes. Yeah, love it. Evening Ross, how you doing chap? So, there's our first one. Comes across there. And then up there, can you see that? Up to there. So, that's spot on. That line there. And we've got one there across the middle here. Just there. You can't really see that one very well because it's got the overhang coming over. And then over that side, you've got one here. That lines up there. And then that last one over here. So awesome. Basically, this side's not got anything, so all good. That's excellent. Tough to bits for that. Move these mats so you can see the lovely Sue, Best Colin, and Scaly Models, Mike, Dad, whatever you want to call him. Very nicely done. Cheers, Annette. Yeah, it's worked out really well, and a lot less masking tape than what the last lot when I done it. If you all remember that, it was kind of like shares in the masking tape. So yeah, that's really come out well. I'm really pleased with that, and that's made life a lot easier using that as well. So all good. So, oh man, superstructure time now. Yeah, I do remember. Yeah. Yeah, I had like tons of masking tape and big thick bits and ripping it, and it was so, you know, I used one bit and just done what I needed to do. So it's definitely cool that. So we've got all this daftness now, right? It's all daftness, this build, but it is what it is, and I can't remember what goes where because it's been that long. But let the fun begin. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. There you go. So that bit goes on there like that. There's our first bit of structure going on. So I'm going to need to spray that in the grey first of all, and then I'm going to need to bring up what I need to do is spray that grey, and then bring these lines up here across this piece, which is all lumpy bumpy, and oh my word, this is going to be a bit of a but and then the same on that side. So that white bit has got to be brought up around this bump here, and brought up at that angle still. So that angle like that. So I've got to try and mask that bit. More masking tape than kit. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I remember it well. So that's the theory. So I definitely need to do that darker grey on it. And then, which won't take many minutes to spray that. So what I'm going to do, because I've got to do that, and we've still got 20 minutes or so, I'm just going to work out what other bits are on the bottom deck and spray them the dark grey at the same time. So we've got all this structure here, and I do believe it's this piece here, like that, because all this stuff starts going on the next levels. And then these little house, whatever they are, not houses, sorry. They're not houses, but they look like they're houses, like a little roof on them. But they're like boat, whatever it is, bits. So that will go on there like that. I'm pure winging it at the minute. I'm just trying to remember how it all went. So there's our first bits in position. So they all need kind of, the metal finish bits will need a little bit of masking on them, just around the edge. And then I'll spray them the colour I need. So that's my next step, is to mask all this craziness and spray it light grey. I was at work yesterday on my day off, so today's been my only day off, and then I'm back to work tomorrow. The joys. So that gap there, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little gap in there, and I think it's a walkway, but to scale. And it's metal finish in there, so I'm going to need to cut one of my little thin bits of masking tape and slot it in that hole there and push it down, and that will just stop that little tiny, I mean, this is craziness because you're never going to see in there anyway, but I know it's there, you know it's there, so I've got to do it. No choice in the matter. So I'm just going to cut myself a little bit to put in there. Like that. Yeah, got to be done too, right? Totally agree on it. Because you know, someone will say, can I see inside there? Right, so I've cut that too wide. Believe it or not, that's a 1mm bit as well. So I'm going to need to use this, man, because my eyesight's awful. I shut one eye and that's that one. Because the grooves are so small, you see, I can't actually see myself. Yeah. There we go. Sorted. Just cut myself a couple of little 1mm. I'll tell you what I will do. I'm going to go across the way with it. I'm just going to show you how you end up with both the same size. So, if I find my 1/1 scale on this, and I want it 20mm long. Gonna have to use this for a sec and see what I'm doing. 20mm is there. There. So, in theory, if I've done this correctly, and it's my first time using these, in theory, my little 1mm pieces now should be exactly the right length for what I need. If I can get hold of the thing. Yeah. See that? Little 0.5mm and 20mm long. In theory, I'll pop that in this from the beginning, right there. Get it to stick, like sticking to the tweezer, like it is at the moment. Try again. You know what? I'm going to smash this. Right. So. It's such a tiny little slot. I mean, it is 0.5mm groove. You know? Right. So, I've got that there. And believe it or not, because it's 0.5mm, it's actually, tweezers are too wide for it. Drag that up a tiny little bit. And hopefully, I keep that square. That should fit in there perfect. And that sweeter than up. That is perfect. I'll try and show you in a minute. Oh, come on. It's a little fiddly. Things are small and such an awkward gap. I bet you won't even see it when I show you. But it's in there. But this may sound like a lame idea, but will it not be better gluing all the superstructure together, that way saving for future masking off at angles? Yeah, and no at the same time. And I'll tell you why. The biggest problem I will have is there's a lot of overhangs on different parts. And once you start having that happen, it gets really difficult to do any masking because you've got bits in the way, if you know what I mean. What you do? Yeah, so you've got that many sticky out over bits, it would just be in the way. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. Right, I don't know if you'll see this. I'm hoping you do, but maybe not. Turn it off. Right, in there, if I get it the right angle, you might see it, but there's a bit of masking tape in there, 1/2 mil wide, 20 mil long, all the way along the bottom of that walkway. So that will keep it steel colour. Yeah, if you try and do what you're saying, then you've got that bit. And that bit on there. And you've got that bit there. And then it's that bit on there like that. And then there's a lots of, and then that way around? No. That way. Something like that. Right. Oh no, that goes up there. Alright, let me just show you Apple where it'd be a bit awkward. I know what you're saying in that aspect, but I'm gonna have to hold this piece on because it's just loose on the top there. But if you imagine you've got all them lumps and bumps to try and get your lines on, and all them metal finish bits to try and mask to protect all at the same time, it would be an absolute nightmare. More of a nightmare than doing it individually like I'm doing, because this way I can mask them edges and get a nice clean surface to get my tape along, spray it, and then do the next piece and the next piece. You've not got all them different layers and sticky out bits that are just gonna pure get in the way. And there is other bits that I need to glue on as well at some point, but they're even more sticky out bits. So, you know, I do get what you're saying. It might, you know, gluing all the superstructure together and trying it, but when you've got a big stack up like on this, it would just be an absolute nightmare to try and mask around all them little thin edges along here, trying to mask all this before you can do your straight line. And then you can't guarantee that when you bend the tape over and try and bring it up and on the next level and the next level, because you've got this one to go on there, and then the little tiny piece on the top, and you know, you start to get even harder to mask, if that makes sense. I mean, trying to mask all that as one piece, it would do your head in. So my kind of method in my madness was work my way up layer by layer, and then I can keep complete control of it and know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing, rather than panicking and trying to make life difficult for myself, if you get what I'm saying. So that's going to be my plan next, is to mask that across the top there, just a big bit of masking tape across there, spray that grey, and then I can work out where my lines are going to go, why I'm holding it, and just put my little bits of masking tape on, go dunk dunk with the masking tape, quick spray, and then it's all done, and then I can just glue that on there, and everything's still lining up well on there, sorry. So that's my theory. So I'm going to leave that there, leave that there, and leave that there. And yeah, so as you saw, we've got our grey bits on there and everything else. So my lines all work out. Now you can see why I stay away from these ships. Told you it was a lame idea. No, not at all, mate. I mean, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. But for brush painting, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Put your superstructure together and you can just sit there with a steady hand, like you good figure painters, which I'm absolutely awful at, by the way. And no, don't even send a figure. I'm not doing a figure live. But yeah, I mean, if you're brush painting and you're trying to do what I'm doing, then yeah, totally makes sense. You know, glue it together and you can just eye it up like that and go like that with a brush. Airbrushing wise is a nightmare. It's like anybody who airbrushes, it's the masking side of it. You know, you've got to do so much masking just to do that couple of seconds with an airbrush. But I prefer the airbrush finish. You know, it's much neater and whatever. Well, for me, it's much neater. If I tried to hand paint that, there would be brush marks all over it and just no good. But no, I totally get what you're saying, though, mate. It's it's all down to how people are comfortable working. You know, I'm comfortable with masking and airbrushing, like I did that typhoon the other day. But for me, that's the simplest way with an airbrush. If that makes sense. So, but definitely not a daft, lame idea. I mean, it does make sense. But obviously, with an airbrush, you know, you're going to get it on your steel plate, and out with a hand brush, you can just miss it. With the hand brushing with Dazzle Camo, be a straight enough line. Not with me. I'd shape too much, and it would just be like, it'd be more like a squiggle camo rather than a Dazzle Camo. So that typhoon looked brilliant. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, no, it was really good. I'll rephrase that. It was great when it was finished. Actually, cutting the masks and doing the masking, I'm not even going to go there. I didn't have these mats either, these orange, you know, these infinity cutting mats. So I didn't have these. It was just a roll of masking tape, a sharp knife, and some photographs of the original aircraft. So that was a bit tedious, to say the least. But yeah, it turned out okay. I done the little grey square on the back. It's not in here. It's up in my display cabinet, so I don't really want to go and get it. Uh, but yeah, so it was really cool doing that. Anyway, that's enough of me waffling on, talking rubbish. Next time, like I say, we'll get this mask quickly. It won't take 2 minutes, and spray it grey. Within 5 minutes, the alclad paints will be dry, and then we'll start masking up and working out where our white and grey lines go, and take it from there, really. And carry on putting some more together. So we've got a good few bits here to deal with next time, but we're starting to get the superstructure on, which is getting me excited. The rigging won't get me excited when the time comes. It's nightmare, but it is what it is, and we've got all the little lifeboats and everything else to deal with as well, and of course the two little dinky aeroplanes that go on it as well. So all good. Nice to see you back, Fred. Take care, ladies, everyone. Yeah, no worries, Sue. Good to see you too. It's really nice to see everyone again. I will be live again next week. Just glad the internet's all working and everything's back to normal. So yeah, everyone, take care, stay safe, and thanks very much for watching. Much appreciated. And I'll see you next week. There might be some exciting news next week, but I don't know yet. I put in some import orders for the shop, so there's a lot of restocking going on at our shop, and I can't wait. And it'll be some new stuff to play with as well. So all good fun. Right, take care, guys. Stay safe, and you know where I am if you need me. And I'll speak to you next week, 7 o'clock. Bye for now.